The Weight of Water by Sarah Crossan. Part 1. We see that they are in Poland. They fly to Stansted and it's raining in London, and they find a place to live in Coventry. We find out that Tata has walked out. So the quest begins. They've come to look for Tata. Kishenka goes to school and is told she is too white. No one will play with her. Her teacher asks her if she speaks English and decides to call her Cassie, even though her name is Kishenka. She is put into year 7 with the 11-year-olds, which she isn't happy about because she's 13. She's a teenager. The theme of racism is raised when Mama gets a job in a hospital. She's a cleaner, and when someone asks her where she's from and she replies Poland, they reply, "I'd like someone English, please." One way that Kishenka feels happy can escape from her problems, such as the racism and bullying and looking for Tata, would be her swimming. It's here she feels powerful. She describes herself as a pebble, like a pebble from a catapult. Tata and Mama, we hear that they didn't get on. They had a lot of arguments when they were back in Poland, and Mama was left with a note saying, "Ola, I've gone to England," and Mama cried for 2 years. So then they begin the search for Tata, looking around Coventry, knocking on apartment doors and being told no by everyone they meet. Then Canoro comes into their lives and brings a bit of happiness and sunshine. Kishenka is having problems in school and she's not happy, and Canoro tells her there is honour in all things. He tries to make her feel better, tries to help her to keep going. Kishenka, while swimming, notices William for the first time, describes him like a hunting hawk. She seems to be quite interested in him and is a bit nervous around him and seems to feel a bit self-conscious. He talks to her and tells her she should be on the school team, and she's not sure how to react to that. Things aren't going well at home. There's a dripping tap. Mama's put up missing posters for Tata, and day to day they go looking for him, and Mama becomes increasingly bitter and grumpy and tells Kishenka that she's useless, further putting a strain on their relationship. It's Christmas and Babcha comes over, and her lack of political correctness comes across when she remarks about Canoro's black skin, and she argues with Mama, trying to get her to come back to Poland and bring Kishenka with her, that it isn't fair to keep Kishenka here. The theme of bullying is raised, cyberbullying and physical bullying, when Claire, who decides to be friends with Kishenka, picks her to be on her team, but also shows her video of a happy slapping incident. And Kishenka's not sure how to react to this. Then we find out that racism has reared its head again, that a Croatian builder was attacked because the people who felt he was Polish and that they were taking jobs from the English. With Water, Part 2. So Kishenka has been getting closer to William, and William has won a medal for swimming at the Students' Awards, and she's quite jealous of that. She knows she's a good swimmer too. And the bullying really ramps up with Claire. While Claire first picked her for her team, now she doesn't pick her, or she gets stuck with her when they're playing sports. She rolls her eyes at her. No one cheers when Kishenka wins or does something well. And Kishenka's very confused. She doesn't know what she's done, and Claire is being very mean and saying things like, "Oh, don't worry about it," asking about her hair, asking whether she has a lesbian haircut, making fun of her bag, asking her if she's gay because of her hair, and telling her that she smells like old meat. So quite a mix there of homophobic bullying, exclusion, and general just insulting her, making her feel awful. Kishenka gets a hair straightener, which will hopefully make her feel like she fits in a bit better. She feels like a fox being surrounded by beagles, that she's being hunted, being circled by these bullies, that she is their prey, that they're pouncing on her. And Claire is described as a snake who hisses and slinks away. Kashenka isn't feeling very good about herself in terms of her body image. She thinks she's all lines, like flat black furniture. She has a flat bottom, and she thinks she's very hairy, so she shaves her legs but ends up cutting herself and bleeding all over the floor. The quest begins again, and Kashenka dreams about Tata and wakes up in tears. She almost wishes he was dead. It's easier to mourn a father rather than missing one that decided to go missing. Claire kisses William, which flares up a lot of jealousy in Kashenka, and cyberbullying happens also, as they were sending messages about Kashenka implying that she did something with William, something inappropriate. And we know that Kashenka does start to really care about William. She dreams about him, and they hang out together, they play on the swings, and she finally feels happy. She feels like a little kid. Wait, water. Continued. William and Kashenka have their first kiss, and Claire is continuing her bullying of Kashenka. She sits behind her in assembly and cuts off some of her hair. And Kashenka shared this with her friend Kenaro, who lives next door, and he tells her that happiness should be your revenge. So she's getting a bit of advice from him. Part 2. Kashenka is really enjoying going out with William. She's talking about kissing him being like eating a Haribo or sucking on a gummy bear. And Kenaro somehow gets Tata's address and gives it to Kashenka. So the quest, you could say there's a big movement in the quest. She has found him. She finds Tata, and she's quite angry that he doesn't react as excited as she is. And she meets his new family, which is Melanie and Briony. She has hot chocolate, she gets milkshakes and cheesecake, watches TV, and actually gets to talk to Melanie, which is very different to what happens at her own house with Mama. Kashenka finally tells Mama, and Mama does not take it well. Mama is not speaking to Kashenka. She's burning food, she's making noise, she's not looking at her, and Mama thinks that she wants to go home. So Kashenka is under quite a lot of stress and pressure. She has a lot of inner conflicts. On one side she's her mother's daughter, a little girl. Next she's a tight-lipped teenager. Next she's William's girlfriend, a swimmer. Then she's a victim to Claire, who's the bully. And Kashenka feels when she's alone, she's nothing. Weight of Water, Part 3. The issue of racism and difference is introduced again with the new girl Delilah, who wears a veil. She wears big clunky shoes and she wears knee-high socks, which makes her stick out as being different. And she becomes a new friend to Kashenka. They have a minute's silence for recognition of the July 7th bombings, and Claire takes this opportunity to bully Delilah because of her faith and says things like, "Why did you say they deserved it?" William is being a great boyfriend and is telling Kashenka to stand up for herself. And Tata finally visits Mama and sees the apartment. Mama tries to make him feel guilty and saying things like, "Oh, look where we live, look at the state of this place." And Mama thinks that Kashenka loves Tata more than she loves Mama. Again, messing with Kashenka's emotions, making her feel guilty and making her feel torn between her parents. But Kashenka still manages to have a good time. She goes swimming with Briony and has ice cream, enjoys herself, and Melanie asks Kashenka to come live with her. Then she gets told that she should be in a swimming gala, seeing as she's such a good swimmer, but she needs to get a parental signature. Mama says no, absolutely, no way. Kenaro gets a job in London, and he has to leave, and Kashenka is very upset about that. So she has to think about it. What is she going to do? She really wants to go to the swimming gala, so she gets Melanie to sign it. And this is when we start to see things working out for Kashenka. She goes to the gala and she wins a medal, and Tata calls her my Olympian, and Kashenka cries with joy. In terms of character change, we see a lot more near the end. She finally stands up to Claire, telling her to piss off. Mama tries to apologize, says, "Oh, it wasn't your fault, Kashenka," so things are being kind of rectified there. Mama seems happier now as well, seeing as Kenoro comes to visit her and she makes an effort with her hair and her dress, and she seems happy and is laughing again. So a very important poem, Butterfly, really shows how much Kashenka has changed. She's talking about learning the butterfly stroke, which is quite powerful, but it also has a metaphorical meaning since she's breaking out of her shell, breaking out of her cocoon. So she's breaking out. There's a violence and a beauty to her movement when she's swimming. She keeps her head down. She knows when to just get on with the work, keep her head down, and she knows when to come up for air. And finally, she thinks that she is standing on her own, and it never felt so good. So we see Kashenka as a happy, confident young woman. The end.